Is this a plugin for Premiere?
It is. It is a plugin for Premiere. Yeah.
Because
So
I mean,
I,
maybe I try to use this
I,
honestly.
I
If you was to guess how much you've invested into just hardware,
just hardware. I'm probably in the
so that's how Nancy Pelosi got all that money. Okay.
no.
No?
Nancy Pelosi just inside traded. Let's be honest.
Welcome back to the Rust Podcast. Today we're here with none other than Matt. He is a very top-notch, famous video editor, and he has worked with some of the top content creators, Josh Barracks, Savage, and one of my personal favorites, Expel. With no further ado, let me introduce you to Matt. Matt, take it away.
Hey, how's it going, guys? My name's Matt. As he said, I'm a video editor. I've been editing for about 5 years now. Well, I guess 6 now. We're in 2026. Crazy. Time flies. It's been a wild ride. I basically started at nothing. Expel. I knew Expel previously, and he was like, "Hey, I need an editor. You want to edit?" I was like, "Sure, let's do it." And now I've been editing full time for 6 years now. So it's been crazy.
You told me that this whole rising of AI is sort of trying to take your clients.
Yeah, so AI has come a long way in the last couple of years, and it's something that I enjoy playing around with. But recently, as we've seen, all this new AI stuff is really starting to push its way into video editing. Not only are they generating its own video now, but we have AI captions, which is a big part of editing for short form content. And we're now starting to see the rise of agentic AI, like this new Claude, OpenClaude, ClaudeBot, MultBot. It's gone by a few different names now. But it's something that I got to play around with, and it's one of these AIs that can actually control your computer. It can see all your files on your computer. It can browse the web, clean up your email, send text messages, call you. It can use programs on your computer, aka video editing software. So I think we're going to be within the next few years, starting to see AI really dive into editing video, not only just like AI templates or AI captions. We're going to start seeing AI edited videos, which is going to be insane. I think that if editors aren't really keeping up with AI and really aren't implementing it into their daily use, then we're going to start seeing a lot of editors fall off.
Yeah, I think the rate at which the AI has actually come, it's not linear growth. This thing is like the curve is just ridiculous. One thing I'll say, like for an editor, like if it could, because I've done some editing myself, obviously I edit my own stuff here and what have you. But one thing I thought would be super helpful, if you want to call it helpful, for not editors, but maybe also for editors, is if you can teach an AI, like you say, the one on your computer, to edit in the way you edit, right? So it's becoming a tool for a professional editor, right? Like, so, okay, AI, I want you to go look at every one of these videos, look at my fingerprint, my style of editing, and this upcoming video, I want you to edit this in that style. Like, imagine whatever software you use. I use Premiere Pro from Adobe. Let's say you could give it all of the control of Premiere and you just watch it edit in Premiere. Well, I don't know if it'd be like this. It'd probably be more like this, but
yeah. So we've already seen the start of it. There's auto podcast AI now, and sitting there and watching this AI edit through an auto podcast is absolutely amazing, because not only can it cut out the silences, the pauses and whatnot, but it could take multiple cameras, multiple audios, and figure out who's talking and where to put the camera. It's amazing to see it in work. I unfortunately haven't had a chance to play with it before, but I think it's called Autopod. But it's absolutely insane just to see how far that's come. And that's not, obviously, like, a lot of editing comes down to timing and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't get all that right, but it's only a matter of time at this point.
Oh, of course. Now, is this a plugin for Premiere?
It is. It is a plugin for Premiere. Yeah.
Because
So
I mean, maybe I try to use this honestly.
I want to say it's like 40 or $50 a month, but it if you do podcasts regularly, it's insane. And especially for editors, like if you primarily edit podcasts, this will take a hour-long podcast and turn it into a full-blown production in minutes. It could save you, hundreds of hours a year. It's insane.
Yeah, I've seen these clips. It looks like it's almost like sorcery because you just look at the screen, right? And you see it going. It's just
you just see it making cuts, and it's wild. It's insane.
It is so wild. And knowing that, I'm sitting here, just click, clack, click, clack, up, Control Z, click, clack, Control Z.
Yeah.
No.
Trying to remember your keybinds and everything.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And now with this new AI, AI is getting so advanced now that it can sit there and watch your screen and watch what you're doing. And with learning AI, you could have it watch you edit a couple videos, and boom, it knows how to edit your style. So it's really going to be interesting. I mean, especially looking back at like what I always like to see is the AI video 3 years ago where it was Will Smith eating noodles, and it was just this very poorly AI generated video, and now it's like you could see Will Smith cooking noodles and eating the noodles now, and it's almost authentic. Like it's hard to distinguish between AI now. And I think a lot of the people on Facebook, we call them boomers, but they're falling for that AI stuff very easily. We're gonna really need an AI to tell us what's AI and what's not AI at some point, which is crazy to think.
Well, we already have like people putting like, with this Epstein stuff coming out and all that, we have like, hey, is because people are like, oh, Epstein's alive and this and that. And they'll put a photo there like, hey, Grok, or hey, Gemini, or hey, ChatGPT, is this real? And it's like, oh, I think this is also Photoshopped where someone said, oh, this is 100% like real. There's so much, like you've got to use our brain too. You got to get the information from so many different spots because AI can say anything. And in regards to the Will Smith thing, I saw someone put a video together where it showed that very first video of Will Smith eating the spaghetti. Yep. And then it had the next one and the next one and the next one. Then today it's like Will Smith talking to his son or something, sitting there eating the spaghetti together with multiple different camera angles. It's like, brother, look how far we have come within just this amount of time. 10 years from now. 10 years from now.
It's super impressive. And part of it has to do with the trillions upon trillions of dollars that we're dumping into AI data centers. But, it's really impressive. And, if you're not jumping on an AI train for whatever you're doing, then you're going to miss out. I mean, there's just no way around it. AI is going to be so much part of our lives going forward that you can't afford to not learn AI at some point.
I agree 100%, man. I feel like it's, and I have one really good friend of mine, love her to death, but she was like, this AI thing, it's just a bubble. It's going to burst. I'm like, Audrey, I want you to think of the AI like this. Think back to 1993 to 1997, where everyone's like, oh, this internet thing, it's nothing. What is this internet thing? This is stupid. This is the devil, Ricky Bobby. But no. It is the AI is the new internet then. So think of how far we've come with the internet to now, from the 90s to how insane it's going to be with AI from here to 10 years from now. Wild to think about. Wild.
Yeah. The only thing I could see like comparing it to the .com bubble is I think right now, everybody and their brother has an AI company, right? And by AI, I mean I like the base AI, not like I use AI in my app, right? I'm talking like Anthropic, Claude, all these base companies, right? I think ultimately, like it'll narrow down to maybe the top 3 to 4 companies, but that's the only thing I could see happening. We're gonna have AI is gonna be a part of our lives for the rest of our lives.
Oh, of course,
that's that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and what do you think of Elon Musk putting his, well, not just him. I mean, it makes so much sense. It sounds like sci-fi, but it's so true. Like putting these AI data centers in space. It's what's the difference of putting a satellite with, GPS in space? It's bigger. And
Yeah.
maybe we put it on the moon and then maybe Mars, but that's down the line. What do you think about all that?
It's really interesting to think about because obviously you're going to get a lot better power transfer from solar, right? The big thing with AI is power and cooling. Space is cool, at least in the dark spots. In the hot spot, bright spots is hot. So I don't know exactly how they're going to take care of that, but it'll be interesting to see. It's definitely an interesting concept. They've, played with the idea of putting data centers under the ocean, which I know Microsoft has been a big part of. But I could see that becoming an issue if we have too many data centers under the ocean. I could see it raising the temperatures of the ocean and causing all sorts of stuff. With space, that's not something we have to worry about, right? Like you're raising the temperature of space, but space is vast. Like you're not going to change anything.
Space is that's a whole nother topic. It's like we are nothing when it comes to the size of space. Like it's insane.
Exactly. Yeah. I love Elon. Don't get me wrong. He does great stuff. He part of what I'm seeing, I'm pretty sure Grok was losing more money for X than it was gaining. So that's part of the reason why I think he strategically sold it to SpaceX. But ultimately, we all know AI is going to make money. So it was a good play, I think, in my book. And it's part of. I saw a post a while back about Elon's essentially master plan. If you think about everything that he's doing, he's doing everything to get us to Mars, but now he's talking about the moon first, which is awesome. I'm super excited to see that. But when we get to Mars, what do we need? We need electric cars because we're not going to have gas vehicles. We need robots to build the first part of our civilization before we get there. We need AI to control it all. Right. So everything he's working on is all going toward this master plan of getting us to be multiplanetary, which is crazy to think about. Because like when you're looking at it micro, you're just seeing all these small moves where, he starts a, electric car company and he buys a solar company and then he buys X and it's like, okay, well, he sees all these little moves, but when you put it all together, you're like, whoa, like this guy's got a plan. And it's pretty impressive to think about like his big scale plan on that side of things.
It has been his plan all along. And he's never tried to hide it. It's always been his dream to go to Mars. And it's like you just said, he has created a tool for every single little thing that he needs to take place in order to get there. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's for me, I've always been a fan of Elon Musk from like, before he was like super like in the media and all this, just because of like the engineering behind it. I love it, because I'm like super into aviation. And my dad, he worked for aviation, but he also worked for where they built the doors that open on the space shuttle. He helped design some tooling for that. So I've always been super into like, the Saturn V, the Saturn V, like I'm been to Houston so many times to look at the rockets. It's just so impressive and so magical. And to hear that we're going to the moon again soon with NASA,
it's awesome.
It's just I freaking love it, man. I love it.
It's funny that you say that because my mom also worked for NASA and she helped train the astronauts on the robotic arm.
What?
So that's kind of small world.
It's small world, bro. What a small world. Oh, I love it so much, dude. I love it. That's really cool.
Yeah, so that's interesting that you say that. I'm who knows? They might have worked together.
I mean, probably. I mean, they had a lot of people working on it for sure, but that's so cool, man. That is so cool.
Have you got to actually like tour any of the parks in NASA here in Houston?
Yeah. There's only one, right?
Kennedy. It's one big one, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But my dad took me and my.
They're all the different little like they have the big pool like training center, and then they have I can't even tell you the names of them anymore. It's been a long time since I've been. But then they have like the big floor with all the different modules of the ISS and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, I want to see all of that. I've
been
been 3 times.
It's super cool to see.
I
Yeah.
know. And people, people like, oh, the moon landing, like one of my Swiss friends here. She's like, oh, the moon landing was fake. I'm constantly sending her, like, look at this. Look at this, She's like, oh, yeah, it's all CGI. Didn't have CGI at that level when we went to the moon, man.
Yeah. I remember somebody saying, like, it would have cost more and been more difficult to fake it than to just go to the moon.
Exactly.
So,
man.
I get why people are like, oh, we haven't been back to the moon forever. Well, what's the point? Like, there's just a bunch of rocks there. We didn't have a plan. But now Elon has this plan for, building a colony on the moon and then using that colony to get us to Mars and all that kind of stuff. Iterations of pre-planning for Mars. So,
and it makes perfect really sense. Cool. It's not far-fetched. It really isn't. I understand like the scope of these things is hard to like for some people to like register and like really think of like how it all works. But I mean, it's all physics at the end of the day. And the dude's brilliant. Everyone says Elon Musk has his own engineers, but he's the lead engineer. He thought of all this before he brought on engineers. It takes a village.
A very smart dude.
Very smart guy. You have people out here saying that he's an idiot. Like, what do you even mean? I've seen these clips of certain people saying
there's a reason that he's there's a reason that whenever stuff goes wrong, he's at their facility all week long. He's sleeping at the facility. He's on the floor with the engineers fixing stuff. There's a reason that he's there. It's not, if he wasn't smart, he would be in the way and that kind of stuff. But there's a reason he's there,
Yeah, man. It's the guy's brilliant. Like, I'm not like trying to glaze him or anything like that, but like, I don't like look up to like celebrities and stuff like this, But this one dude I've looked up for a long time because I've always been into, like I said, the space race, aviation, you name it, engineering as a whole. And man, and the rate at which he implements, dude. Like,
oh yeah,
he doesn't stop going. He reminds me, well, they're kind of like the same, right? Where like Mr. Beast for YouTube lives, breathes, eats, and sweats YouTube. Well, that is Elon Musk into getting to Mars, and he's been like that ever since he was a little kid. So I mean, it's we can do amazing things if that's all we do our entire life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's impressive stuff. Very impressive stuff. I don't know how we got on that, but it's just so cool.
Data centers, AI data centers. That's how we got on space.
He's talking about also putting the one of the first things he wants to do is like manufacture on the moon so that he can actually bring the cost of launching the data centers and more satellites even more because there's no gravity, and he wants to sling them off the moon, which makes sense because of the lower gravity and no atmosphere. Like, it sounds like sci-fi, but you think about it, if you know some stuff about physics, you're like, it just makes sense. And he's got starships coming out a conveyor belt. He's building starships like Henry Ford did when you
got an assembly line for him.
Yes,
and he's not afraid to blow them up either.
No, that's all failure, Matt. That's all failure. SpaceX is failing because of all of the rockets that are exploding.
Yeah. You got to blow stuff up to figure out what's wrong with it, and then
he said it himself. He said it himself. You got to learn from all the failures, and I think that's a good life lesson. I think that's a very good life lesson.
It really is. I mean, he basically took SpaceX to failure. I can't remember the story exactly, but I want to say it was like they had enough money for the last launch, and he had to source the engines from Russia and all this kind of stuff to try and save the money. And that launch succeeded finally. And that's what really kicked him off. And it's really impressive to see like how far he's willing to take something to failure to make sure it works. So
yeah, that was like,
I mean, everybody can learn from it.
Of course. I mean, I've failed so much in my life, it's ridiculous. But we just got to keep going. But yeah, that launch was like the Hail Mary,
Yep.
Quite
literally.
Because I guess he had investors that were going to pull out as well, or he was going to stop investing. I don't know the full story, but I know the launch you're talking about.
Yeah, it was his last bit of money and he paid for it himself. Yeah. So it's interesting to really read about it. But That just shows you his core entrepreneurial values and how much he believes in his own stuff. So,
Yep. And like, bro, I can't wait to go see a launch. I want to go see a launch of a Starship, and I want to see them catch the things, bro. Catching rockets in midair. And not small rockets,
no,
Matt.
They're thousands of pounds.
And they just sit down like a feather.
Yep. It's very impressive. And it's a lot further for you to go, but I think it's about a 4 or 5 hour drive for me to get down there. Something like that.
Where are you at?
And I've never been.
You're in Houston?
I'm in Houston.
You're in Houston. That's what I thought. Houston or Austin.
I lived near NASA for most of my life. I was probably 5-10 minutes away from NASA. So we went quite a bit.
Oh man, you're so lucky. I went 3 times. Yeah. But I mean, I lived in like Dallas, Fort Worth, but I was living in Houston or Spring Cypress. I don't know if you know of the town.
I do.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Even smaller world.
I've lived here my whole life, so Houston is a lot of city.
Oh, it's big. I'm not a huge fan of Houston. I guess just coming from DFW, like the climate in Houston is so hot and humid to me.
Well, I'm not a fan of Dallas, so
that's okay. I mean, that's okay.
Nobody can drive in Dallas.
Bro, okay, Houston or Dallas. Come on. I've been in both.
Dallas is a lot worse. I'll tell you that.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
Am I biased?
Well, the biggest thing about Dallas is nobody knows how to merge onto freeways.
I mean, you just get there, bro.
People don't understand that. They don't understand that. They go 20 miles an hour trying to get on the highway. I'm like, come on, man.
Couldn't be me. It's
I had it's been, every time I go to Dallas, it's always something, very close calls on the highway. But that's just, of course, it's me being biased, growing up in Houston, learning how to drive on Houston roads, going to Dallas.
Could be me too. I think we like what we're used to.
Yeah.
I think we like what we're used to. I will say this much. I had a motorcycle for about 6 months, and every time I get on the highway over there, it scared the crap out of me. I had a lady on her phone and her Hummer and ran me off the road. I sold the bike and bought a vending machine. I was like, it's not worth it. Now on those backcountry roads, it's great.
Yeah, that's where I'd like to ride, but maybe one day, eventually.
You ever ridden a bike?
Only a dirt bike. So I've not ridden an actual motorcycle. I mean, it's basically the same thing.
It's right? two wheels and a motor with no protection.
Shift, yeah, exactly. But it was a very small one. It was like a 100cc dirt bike. So
okay,
but it was perfect to learn on, right?
No, absolutely.
Because you don't want to sit on a 500cc or 600cc your first time. So
my first bike was a 250.
A 250.
Yeah. Now I did wreck it the second I got on it after I bought it. Not wreck it. I just ran it into a ditch and kind of flailed around.
Yeah. But I almost ran into a tree the first time I used it. So.
Damn, bro. That can mess you up. Was it like dirt? Like, were you like on like a dirt track?
Yeah, it wasn't like a track. It was like one of those, hey, I know a spot on the side of the road that people ride dirt bikes on type thing. It wasn't like a legal like track or anything, but it was off the road. So
okay, cool. Well, yeah, my experience with the bike was scary. Like, I liked it. I loved it. I loved riding it like around 2 a.m. on like a county road by myself.
Oh yeah, when nobody's out.
Yeah, that's great.
Throw some music on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's fantastic. But whenever you have, freaking Karen over there and her Hummer messing with her hair and on the phone and she pushes you off the road, that's scary. At 80.
What's funny is what really got me into like motorcycles and dirt bikes and stuff is back in 2010 to 2013, watching moto vloggers. That was a big thing around that time. Jake the Garden Snake was one of my favorite moto vloggers. Walterific was a good one. There's a few of them that were just like iconic moto vloggers, like the first of their time around that time. And that's what really got me into it. That's what made me want a bike, but I never ended up getting one.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to sound like an unk, but they're kind of unsafe, bro.
They are.
They're kind of unsafe.
Yeah. It's dangerous. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man. What were we talking about before we got to motorcycles? Engineering,
Space,
Elon Musk,
engineering,
space.
Elon. Yeah.
Getting back on track, you say AI, and we've talked about how AI is taking everybody's jobs. Do you have kind of a, not an exit strategy, but do you have another idea of like an area of expertise you would go into?
I don't. So I think the biggest thing as of right now and for the next 5 years is going to be just using AI to help grow your business and get into additional niches, right? So right now I'm currently niched down into the UGC, user generated content advertising space, right? Um, I think a step out from that is we could use, I say I could use AI to help grow my business by reaching out to company, having it reach out to companies essentially, and pitch not only my editing skills for these companies, but also, I have a wide network of creators now who also create advertising content. And so I could package that kind of stuff and reach out to companies directly and work with them directly versus just working with them through TikTok and that kind of stuff. And I think that's where AI is really good at. It's good at scraping data. It's good at, trying to contact people and set up essentially, cold outreach, turn them into a warm lead, and then get them, essentially within your company. So I think that's going to be our biggest bet, is using AI to expand the company as of now. And then once AI is actually like doing more of this editing type stuff, I could see myself reaching out to like realtors, because one of the big things in realty now is having video on your listings, right? Because we're starting to see, the younger and younger audience start buying homes. And these people are used to short form content. They're used to content in general. So we're going to see a lot of, I think, less pictures and more like, hey, here's a walkthrough of this house. And that is where AI is going to shine, because it can go grab pictures. It can grab the information on the house. It can write a script. We can now synthesize a voice around that, whether you're replicating your own voice or using an AI voice in general, which sounds amazing nowadays. And they can put that all together for you, package it up, and send it to a realtor. So your AI essentially could be doing hundreds of these a day, reaching out to realtors, producing a video, sending it to them, and putting it up on a listing. So I think working alongside AI for the next 5 to 10 years, I think, is going to be the best bet. Beyond that, it's hard to say, just because of how fast AI is growing. It's hard to tell you where AI is going to be in 5 years. So ultimately, yes, working alongside AI to expand your business is probably going to be the best bet right now.
Along AI to expand your business, because you have an LLC.
I do, yes.
Yeah. So that AI doing all the cold calling for you, I think, would be a huge, huge tool to have in the arsenal. Now, you were talking about the like real estate companies. So because also what I like drones. First of all, you ever flown one? You have one?
I do. I have a DJI Mavic Mini.
I've got the Mavic too. But I hear that I've got a bunch of really cool shots of Switzerland just stockpiled on my hard drive.
Sure, yeah.
But not to get off track, but I hear that they are blocking DJI now from the States. Is this right? Do you know? Have you heard anything about that?
I have heard that, and it's mainly because of the software, I want to say, because DJI is a Chinese-based company, I believe.
It is. 100% yes.
And I want to say it was because the software issue. A lot of the other manufacturers are still going to be selling in the United States, but I think DJI is starting to slow down that. I don't see that, continuing to happen. They'll do something like TikTok did, where they'll make an entity in the United States and they'll produce in the United States, that kind of stuff. I don't see DJI going anywhere. They're a huge company. They're a big part of, the the United States already. So, but even then, if we don't see DJI, we're going to see another company pop up in its place. So,
I agree. I will say I'm a huge fan of DJI products. They're so expensive, but I am a huge fan.
The ease of use of them
Oh.
are incredible. And, you know, what's interesting is like, we did see like a huge move to drone aerial photography for real estate real estate properties. That's actually something I tried to get into for a little bit.
Right.
But it was hard to get the realtors to switch from whoever they're using to me. Even with low prices and stuff, realtors are very keen on their relationships. But we saw that. Then we saw this huge move to 3D walkthroughs, which are really cool. So then these companies, I think eventually we're going to see it move to these short form, essentially content for houses, which we've already seen on TikTok. There's this guy that does these quick run throughs of houses, and he completely changed the way that realtors. I've seen so many realtors try and copy his style now, because he did so well on TikTok. Not only because he's selling these homes, but he makes a home walkthrough entertaining, which is super interesting to see this overlap of a content creator going into a realtor space and making it fun and enjoyable for everybody to watch. So ultimately, I think video is going to be something for real estate space.
Well, yeah, that's why I brought it up in the first place as far as like the drones, because I'm maybe moving back to the States within the next year or year and a half, and it's something I thought about doing since I have the drones. Is doing that stuff, because when I was in the States before, I met a guy that's all he did was the aerial photography for real estate, and he was crushing it. He couldn't even keep up with the demand. I was like, yeah, that's cool. So
yeah, and if you're using a small enough drone, you don't even need a license to do it.
Yep.
So it's really cool. Although I see a lot of these higher end listings, and if it's something you're into, like going into the higher end of it and doing these FPV fly throughs of the homes, I think that's what would kill it right now versus just the drone. Everybody now does drone photography, right? It's part of the real estate package at this point. But if you take it a step further and do those FPV fly throughs, that's really where you could shine in the real estate space nowadays.
If you're going to have to do a lot of drone crashing before you get into that, right? But what's cool is you can actually do it virtual on the computer now.
Yeah, it's really cool. Obviously, like they're usually a little bit bigger homes, so it's a little easier to do fly-throughs. But it'd be something you have to be very careful of, because the last thing you want to do is punch a hole through a wall in a new listing. So
or someone's face.
or someone's face.
These videos of them flying the drone, and it's just like someone's face, and then it goes out. It can hurt though.
Oh yeah. Well, so keeping on this whole FPV fly through trend, what's really interesting now is we can even see AI starting to do this, which is insane. I've seen a few examples of this for like restaurants and stuff like that, where they'll take aerial shots, a couple aerial shots, and then they'll take transition to their normal camera, do interior shots, and then they'll do exterior shots on the other side. And with AI, they're able to stitch all these photos together, and it makes a virtual 3D fly-through, FPV fly-through. So, 5 years from now, drones are going to be irrelevant, because we're going to have these 3D virtual AI fly-throughs. It's insane that what AI is capable of doing at this point.
They're really taking everything, man. Everything you can imagine. Even the music industry. Dude, have you heard the 50 Cent Mini Men and all the different genres? And it sounds so good. Like it hits so good. And it's AI.
You could definitely tell currently like AI songs, because they all have that kind of same vibe to it. I want to say they're all different genres, they're all different words, but you could tell like it has that pacing, right? Which is very interesting. I think that'll be one of the quicker things of video editing for AI, is definitely going to be music. We're going to see a lot more of this. And there's a huge song that came out. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it came out and it was like one of the top hits for a while. And then somebody figured out that the vocals in it were AI, and then they got a huge backlash. But I think it's people just like not wanting to believe that it was AI, right? But I think it's going to be something that we're going to see again. It's one of those things where it's like, if you combine AI, excuse me, if you combine AI with your current, producing in the song industry, that's where you have to be, right? You have to work alongside AI right now, otherwise you're not going to make it. And what's really cool is seeing all these new games coming out and the use of AI music in the games. Because not only is it like, oh, the songs, music soundtrack's cool, but that they didn't have to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars licensing music for it. That's more money in the developers' pockets and all this kind of stuff. But not only that, is we could start seeing this music and stuff crafted for your exact moments in games, right? So when we start seeing some of these more open world games start implementing AI in it, based on what you're doing in that open world game, you could see AI crafting music for you on the fly for these games, which is going to be insane. And I think again, that's something that Elon talked about, was AI produced games. AI and gaming is going to be massive, and it's going to be really cool because obviously gaming is a big part of my what I do. So
right,
I get to see a lot of that. But just to think about like AI crafting a game around what you want to do is going to be insane.
Yeah, because it can generate it in real time. In real time.
Mm-hmm.
What's it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it Doom where it recreated Doom, but it was like frame by frame was creating the entire scene. Like it wasn't pre-rendering or anything like that. It was literally like walking through and creating the scene. I think it was Doom. I could be wrong, or
it might have been, but I'm not 100% sure.
But it's just crazy. I mean, it's not there yet.
I know they have. Have you seen the AI in Minecraft?
Bits and pieces. Tell me more.
That one is interesting. It's essentially it's the same thing you're talking about. It recreates AI frame by frame, or I'm sorry, it recreates Minecraft frame by frame while you're playing it. It's very buggy. It was an early implementation of it, but you could like look at the ground or look at water, and then like ultimately it would turn into the sky because it thinks it's a blue, right? But it's really interesting to see what happens whenever AI starts creating games like that on the fly. Because you could walk up to a door and then all of a sudden it turns into a tree because it's all wood, right? But once they get that kind of stuff set up, I mean, you could walk through a game and you wouldn't know what was pre-generated, what wasn't, because AI is just making it on the fly.
Bro, it's almost like someone's like you were just mentioning it. Someone said it's kind of like even more proof that we like live in a simulation, because how our life is like, you have deja vu every now and then, but it can still create things on the fly. Crazy to think about.
Yeah, I don't believe in a lot of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
But the simulation theory is something that I've always thought about. I'm like, that's a very plausible thing that could happen. And that's another thing that Elon even believes too. He's convinced we could live in a simulation as well. And I mean, it's interesting to think about it. There's some really cool videos that I've watched where they break down all this kind of stuff. This is way beyond me, but they did some sort of experiment once where they were shooting particles through a slit, and anytime they were watching it on the backside of the slit, it would be in a line, right? Because that's what you expect to happen. If it goes through a slit, it lines up. But if they weren't observing it, then it would scatter on the other side.
I saw this.
And they had no explanation to why. It was only whenever it was being viewed. So that's another. It's like when you think about game design, it's like if you're not seeing something, it doesn't need the calculations. So if something's behind you, it's not being rendered, all this kind of stuff. But if it's in front of you, it's being rendered, it's being calculated, and all that kind of stuff. So to think about that into a real life perspective, it's like if we're not viewing it, does it need to be calculated? So That's interesting.
Brother, I know. I've seen that too. It's wild.
Yeah.
And when you go back to like we were talking about how massive space is, how massive like the cosmos are, and you think of like this at the same time, things get skewed, man. Reality really gets skewed. It's so wild. So wild.
Yeah. It's very interesting to think about. And that's the whole NPC theory and all this kind of stuff. It's really cool. And that's one of the things that again, I don't believe in a lot of conspiracies. You know, there's flat Earth, nothing like that.
That's what came to mind. It was flat Earth.
Yeah, but the simulation theory is something that I've thought about quite a bit.
I mean, yeah, dude, you think about it, it's kind of crazy once you go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, especially where you see like where AI's come from in the last 5 years. You know, if a civilization had this kind of technology 1,000,000 years ago, we could be in their simulation. Yeah. We could be part of their AI, right?
Man,
who knows?
It's sorcery. It's sorcery, man. It's magic.
Yeah,
crazy. You know,
it's crazy to think about.
On the topic of AI, you know, so many people investing in AI, like going back to like how video games are a big part of what you do. And, you know, you have to have these powerful PCs these days, especially you work on 2 computers. You work on 2 PCs, super powerful PCs for these edits to get it done, rendered quicker, and also for gaming as well. Because you also game yourself, which also requires power. And then you see Bankman buying 40% of the market share of all of the memory. You know?
Yeah.
My RAM, I'm thinking of you even more so, because I only have 2 sticks of RAM in my PC, and I paid 300 Swiss francs. I go to look at that same RAM now, it's like 700.
Yeah.
700 for Swiss francs, pretty around 1,000 something USD.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, even NVIDIA has stopped. Apparently, we're not even getting a new series card coming up this year because they're wanting to use all those memory chips for AI, because that is where we're headed. That's how big this thing is. So what do you think about all that?
It's a stepping stone. There's this new platform called an NPU. It's called a neural processing unit. That is ultimately what will replace these GPU, essentially, you know, rendered server farms, right? Excuse me. The neural processing unit will eventually replace these GPU, you know, server farms. Until that happens, they're stuck using GPUs because it's the fastest processing. It has dedicated RAM, super fast RAM, and that's where AI is at. We're at an AI boom. We're going to see low stock and all this kind of stuff. But eventually, we'll see a transition to NPUs or another form that's faster than GPUs, dedicated to AI, and they'll move away from it. You know, RAM prices will go down. It's going to happen. But until that happens, we just got to live with the high prices.
I will say,
I'm not adding any RAM to anything for a while because it's way too expensive.
No way. I wish I would have gotten, instead of like 2 sticks of RAM for my computer, I wish I would have gotten at least 4. But
yeah,
because I had built this computer like just on the edge of before everything started going up. And I got a new graphics card. I was so happy because I was watching the price really close for like, you know, the 5080 series, and I got it at the most rock bottom price. I was so proud of myself that it ever hit, and now it's up like 300 francs more than I bought it for, and it's only going to go up.
I don't want to say lucky because I needed it, but I have 64 gigs of RAM in both my computers, because I do video editing. Right, Premiere takes up a ton of RAM, so I got it all when it was low, but I recently got into home labbing, so I set up a home lab, and so I have a 3-node cluster running Proxmox and doing all sorts of stuff, and I have a media stack called the R stack, which, without getting too much into it, is a creative way of streaming your own media. I can't say more than that, otherwise you're gonna get.
I don't know what you. I know everything we've talked about so far up until you just said like those four last things. What?
So, home labbing is essentially like running your own server at your own home, right? So I have 3 computers, and they're running in a cluster, so they all talk to each other. They all run a server program called Proxmox, which allows me to basically give it a stack of programs to run for myself essentially, and it can say, hey, we're using too much resources on this computer, so we're going to offload to one to another computer, one to another computer, and so on and so forth. So it's a server, right? And a stack is just like a group of programs that all run kind of together to do a task. So the R stack is Sonar, Radar, Prowler, and then I use Jellyfin as my streaming service. So it's kind of like, think of Netflix, but you're the one that controls Netflix, right? So it's all media on your hard drive, movies and TV shows on your hard drive, and that stack kind of controls it all. And it's a creative way of downloading movies. Right? So I can't get into more than that, otherwise YouTube will not like you. But so I got into that recently, and so I bought a couple of like Dell Optiplexes, which are like these little small business machines, right? Which were great. But then I have my main like old PC that's like the brains of the server, but it only had 16 gigs of RAM, and I'm running into the issue now where I'm filling up all 16 gigs with all these little programs that are running. And I wanted more RAM, but it's gonna have to wait at this point. So
I got yourself into a sticky situation there, my friend.
I like the pun, sticky RAM stick.
Yeah.
But yeah,
crazy.
All that to say that I need more RAM for my server, but I don't want to buy more RAM for the server right now.
That is something I didn't know anything about.
Yeah, it's a little hobby I picked up recently, home labbing.
Cool stuff. Sounds like a rabbit hole I'm gonna have to go down on my own time.
It is a very big rabbit hole, and but you could start out with something super simple. I started out with a Raspberry Pi, which, if you don't know what that is, it's like a little $40 microcomputer, right? I know Raspberry Pi. I ran N8N, which is like an automation software. Again, it was kind of like, we started out talking agentic AI, right? Where nowadays it could control your whole computer, do all kinds of stuff. This was kind of like the first iteration of it, where it was like this automation software where you could write scripts for it, where you could say, hey, go to the AI and ask this question, get the response, send it to my Discord, and then go write an article and post it on Twitter, right? So it's like the first iteration of this agentic AI, and that's where I started really diving into it. And then I run, like ad blocking softwares for the entire network and that kind of stuff. But then I got more into it, and I bought 3 computers and built a whole mini lab. So it's a rabbit hole that you can spend a lot of money into. So.
Oh, I can imagine. I'm happy with my one beast of a PC, and you're running 3.
Yeah. Technically, I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, as 6. So I have 3 in the server stack. I have 1 that I use for a Minecraft server, and then I have my streaming and recording PC, and then my gaming, editing other PC. So,
brother, that is
I get into it. When I get into something, I get into it, right?
No, I get it. When you have to look around your room and count your PCs, Matt, I think we need to have an intervention, brother.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, that's cool.
It's a hobby.
Yeah. No,
yeah, it's a lot of fun. You'd be surprised how much hard drive space I have too. At this point, I have like 50 terabytes of hard drive space among all my PCs and server and stuff. So,
bro,
I could use more
terabytes. You can never have enough space.
You can never have enough space. No.
Do you have a mix of like HDD and SSD, or?
Yes, a lot less. Solid state drives.
I I mean,
I
because that'd be
edit.
expensive as hell.
Yeah. I keep all of my current editing projects and stuff like that for the month, usually on M.2 solid state drive. Um, and then it goes on to a NAS drive essentially. So deep storage for that part. And then I keep like all my editing resources on like a high performance drive. So WD Black drives, really like those. And then all my operating systems, games, stuff like that are on a separate M.2 SSD.
Okay.
So
hey, that's impressive. Brother.
it's a mixture, but the majority of the big space is all just hard drives because at this point it's pretty cheap. You could buy 10 terabyte hard drive for like $150. So
yeah, I will maybe I don't know. I'm just like this, but I've decided not to use like any like HHDs at all. But I don't need that much space either. For me, I guess it's like I want my stuff to like load as fast as humanly possible, so I try to stick with just like M.2s. But I mean, you only have so much space for that, right? Then you end up getting like the PCIe like M.2 like rack, which I don't have, but I end up getting.
So that's where like the home labbing stuff kind of comes into play, which is again really cool. This is all stuff that I'm still kind of learning, but I'm implementing as I go. So I also bought just to play around with it, a 2.5 gig network switch. So now I have the transfer speeds 2.5 gigs per second, right? Or gigabit per second. So what I did is on my server, I have the main hard drives, but I also have SSDs as cache drives. So if I do pull up like a project on my server, it's cached into the SSD drive, and then I'm transferring it at 2.5 gigs per second over my network to my main computer. So I can edit off of my server and not have any lag or anything like that. And then after I'm done editing, it's smart enough to take it off the cache drive and put it back in the hard drive. So
wow,
it's
super
something
useful
to learn, and it's great for an editor, right? But it's something to learn if you want to deep dive, deeper into the rabbit hole of home labbing and network attached storage and all that kind of stuff. It can get very fast to edit off of a network drive. And eventually I'll upgrade it to 10 gig per second, which is when I get a new place and all that kind of stuff. But again, it's another upgrade because at that point you have to upgrade the network card in your main PC. You have to upgrade your network switch. You got to upgrade the card in your server, and you got to make sure your server is running SSDs and all. It gets expensive, but
absolutely,
it's something that I played with, and I'm like, okay, this is beneficial, and so eventually I'll upgrade to 10 gig and all that kind of stuff. But
if you was to guess how much you've invested into just hardware,
I'm probably in the $15,000 to $20,000 range now. Yeah. But that's over 6 years, so that's not too bad, and it's all a business write-off and whatnot. So
that's crazy, bro. You got so much machine in your house, bro. The AI takes over, they're just gonna take you, bro. You're gonna be absorbed by your machines.
Yeah, I've accepted it. I actually, so we were talking about earlier the agentic AI and Claude-bot and stuff like that. I pulled an old MacBook that I had from a 2018 MacBook, and I wiped it, and I installed the Claude-bot on there. So it has its own computer now. It runs its own computer. And it's really cool. So I set it up to where it could talk to me through Discord. So if I want to send it a message, say, hey, go do this, I just pull up the Discord message. I'm like, hey, go on X and research X topic, this topic whatsoever. It's really weird to look over at my MacBook and see it scrolling through X and reading X and looking at stuff and it'll come back with a report to me and say, hey, look, I found this kind of stuff. It's really cool to watch and see, dude. It's so strange.
You're Iron Man, and you have your own Jarvis. No. You're Iron Man, and you have your own Jarvis.
I have not played with it enough to be that. There's some people out there that have put a lot of time into this Claude. It's not Claude-bot anymore. Claude, essentially, it has nothing to do with Claude, like Anthropic Claude. They named it Claude-bot at first, and then Claude was like, hey, this is too close to our name. You can't have this name. So they ended up changing it to Moltbot after that. Now it's called OpenClaude. But there's some people out there that have put a lot of time into this agentic AI already, and it can do some amazing stuff. Let me say, like, I've seen people have it set up to where it'll call them occasionally and be like, "Hey, just wanted to give you an update." It'll call them on their phone and say, "Hey, I want to give you an update about whatsoever you asked me to do earlier." And it'll give them an update over the phone. It's impressive to see what they can do with it now. And I've even seen one guy say, gave it $50 and said, "Hey, you now are in charge of making your own money. If you don't make enough money, then I'm shutting you off." And it went out and it designed this bot, AI, Python bot, essentially, that uses Polymarket and trades on current events happening. Right. So it's really interesting to see what it can do. But ultimately, it all boils down to what AI you're using. So a lot of people use Claude for OpenClaw, right? But then Claude was like, "Hey, y'all can't use your subscription for this." They cut it off. So now you have to use AI API tokens, which are a lot more expensive. So if you're not careful, you could dump like $4,000 into AI tokens a month from this.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had to use a different AI model which just came out recently, called Kimi K2, it's very impressive. All these new, AI models coming out, but it's a lot cheaper. So it's only like $20 a month, but it's not as smart as Claude, in my opinion. So eventually I'd like to use Claude, but it's going to be expensive.
So that's how Nancy Pelosi got all that money.
Okay. No, Nancy Pelosi just inside traded. Let's be honest here.
Didn't let that ride for long.
Now I could tell it to just track Nancy Pelosi's trades and then just follow her trades, and that would probably work. But no, it's super interesting.
Oh, good.
And I'd love to play with it more, but I run into the hey, you've hit your AI limit for the day.
Oh yeah,
you got to wait till tomorrow to use more AI. So, it's curious to see that. My next step is turning my home lab into its own AI. So I'll buy eventually a graphics card for the server, and I'll host my own AI on my own server and connect it to that, so I can use it as much as I want. But that's eventual, because it needs a good GPU and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see.
My thoughts on GPUs, I think the last just raw rasterization GPUs we've seen, at least from NVIDIA, is the 4090s. Because the 50s are like all AI generated. When to be completely honest, I don't notice a lot of latency with this 5080 that I got. I freaking love this card. Honestly, I've never had a 90 series card. I am not built like that. I'm not that guy. But I'm very happy with what I have here. I've been playing a lot of Arc Raiders. Love that game.
Yes.
Love that game. Haven't gotten enough of it. Cannot.
Shout out to the Burnt Peanut for keeping that game alive.
Dude. I love a lot of streamers. I'm going to tell you right now, the Burnt Peanut has my heart. This dude, every clip, I laugh my freaking ass off.
He's
this
awesome.
Guy's crazy.
I love him.
So good. He's so good. People say he view bots. I'm like, really? Really?
Nah.
Come on.
He's got, everybody knows him from all. I mean,
of course.
He doesn't view bot.
Even people that don't know video games. Like one of my friends said he was talking to a girl at the bar the other day, and he made a reference, and the girl was like, "Oh, you're a bungulator?" And he was like, do you play Arc Raiders? She's like, "No, but I know the Peanut, and he's really funny." I'm like, "Hey, this guy is."
With TikTok these days, I mean, he's known. I'd say he's the modern day Ninja when Ninja blew up. Everybody knew him. My mom knew Ninja, so I'm sure she'll know who Burnt Peanut is at some point here.
Yeah, he's so witty, bro. He's so quick with it too.
Oh
his comebacks. It's like, brother, this is so good.
He revived Twitch. He revived streaming content creation. Because everybody was in such a dull point where there's like these new games come out and nobody likes it. Everybody's just forcing themselves to stream and make content. But he made it fun again. He made it to where it wasn't so serious. And I think it was exactly what the content creation community really needed to really revive why they started content creation in the first place, to entertain. and
have
you know,
fun
he's a big part of
with
it, and have fun.
I
Yeah.
had someone talking to me about Peanut yesterday too, and he was like, like if I was Peanut, I would take like a few streams, like maybe a year, because of what the revenue you get from it or the profit you get from it, cash out and move to an island. But I was like, yeah, but that's the difference is like he has so much fun in his streams. You know what I mean? Like in all of his, like his production is just like, he all does it himself. He makes it his own. And he just has fun with it, which at the core of it is what it's all about anyways. The gaming, the entertainment, it's about having fun. And if you're not having fun, if you don't have a passion in it somehow, it's kind of like, what are you doing? If it's only for money, if you do something only for the sake of money, it'll fail. It will fail. And that's one thing he is, man. He just has fun with it. That's what I was trying to explain to one of my friends yesterday too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's cool to see it, and like we've seen rise and fall of creators a lot over the past 5 years, and his is definitely the biggest rise. So it'll be interesting to see where he's at, where he turns it to.
He had stopped streaming for a little bit, and then apparently one of his friends was like, "Hey, you should start streaming again." It's just like the perfect formula of where he restarted his personality. It worked well with Arc Raiders, and it just exploded. It's crazy.
Yeah, he used to stream with like Facecam even before he was.
He had a Facecam. I haven't seen any leaks or anything.
Apparently, he keeps it pretty tight, but
it's good. It's good.
He used to stream. He used to be one of the people. Like he's like anybody else. He streamed 10, 15 viewers, and then he quit streaming, and then he changed his personality. His persona, I guess, rather, and became the Burnt Peanut, and he put on a show. Everybody loved it.
Cool, man. Well, I wish you all the luck. I hope you don't get absorbed by your AI at your house.
We'll see. I might just become part of it.
You may. You very well may. Listening to what you've got over there. So until next time, brother, thanks so much for coming out.
I appreciate it.